Hi everybody, this is Belinda from Belinda's Book Nook, and I am here today to do a quick Friday reads. I went and got my hair cut today. I was concerned that we might have a lockdown again, and so I'm like, I better go get it cut because I just don't want to run around in lockdown with rusty crusty ends. So it's funny though, every time I go, no matter how many times that I've had my hair cut by the same stylist. I'm still like, when I hear the scissors, when she's, I'm like, oh my God, how much is she taking off? But she does a good job. She knows me anyways, and although I always feel like it's short each time, like, I look in the mirror and then afterwards I'm like, oh, it looks great, looks fine, I'm okay, and when I first got married, I used to wear my hair all one length and long, like down here, and so this is short compared to that, but it's definitely doable. My big rule is I always have to be able to pull my hair back. As long as I can pull it back into a hair tie, when I want to pull it back, I'm good. So that was my quick errand I ran this morning. And so that's why I have to do a quick follow up with you guys for our Friday. I felt like I didn't want to skip it because I've been trying to be good about it. And I know I'm going to miss some of them for the holidays this month. So this will be kind of my catching up. So what I did is I looked in my journal, which I haven't written my reviews for the books that I read this past month yet in here. And I look at my sad TBR of November thinking what I was intending on reading and what ended up happening was not the same. So I had, 2020 has been like that for me. I feel like I was so excited on New Year's Eve last year for 2020. I was just like, oh my God, it's such a cool number and so hopeful. And the year turned out, as we all know, very, very different than what we thought. And that applied also to my reading. And now as my throat itches, I realize I didn't bring my water cup. Ugh. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So my reading was not exactly, as good. And so much so that I had to actually spill over to this month to finish a nonfiction November that I had on my list. So this was one of the ones I definitely wanted to get to, and I'm happy to say that I have completed it. Lots of flags. I want to do a wrap up on this, and I'm trying to figure out a way to do it. I want everybody to read this. I don't want to spoil anything, but I do want to bring up some of the things that the takeaways that I got from the book, from some of the essays that are in here. So that wouldn't be spoiling the whole entire book, but some of the ones I just felt like I should highlight. And so I will definitely do a separate video and talk about this. And those, I just have to get I didn't write it. See, if I already did my review in here, I would have that better able to present. But what I'll do is sit and think about which couple essays that I wanted to talk about specifically, and then just my overall experience with the book. But overall good. I will do a full, like a discussion about it in that video. So then I was supposed to read The Lost Art of Reading Nature Signs, and that's this one. And I didn't do it. Remember I said we're going to push this into the spring. So although it was a great start, and I think it's truly interesting, I think it's definitely a spring, summer, depending upon where you live. If you have seasonal weather like me here in the winter, I just felt like I was going to miss out on some of the things that I can actually do with the book. So that was put off. This one, I don't know. Again, I can't really explain always why I don't end up reading a book, other than I just don't feel motivated or time just got away from me. Kind of a combination of both. And it's not that the book is bad. The Journey for the Ages, Matthew Henson and Robert Perry's historic North Pole expedition, didn't finish, won't get finished this year. Gonna try to get to it for sure next year and squeeze it in there. It's very good, and I'm very interested to see what this one, this book is going to reveal to me. So that one didn't happen, but I did have a start. The Yellow House, I didn't even start it. I think I really kind of want to push that into next year, as much as I really wanted to do that book. I even participated on a Zoom author chat with her, and oh my God, it made me want to read the book even more. So I'll definitely get to that next year. And then I had actually two secret books because I didn't say anything about these two because I wasn't sure. I was going to finish them and stuff, but I did finish these both in November. I just didn't want to discuss them until I finished at least one of the ones I said I was going to read in my TBR. And the first of the two is a fiction, even though it was nonfiction November. I didn't have a hard and fast rule that I was only going to read nonfiction. So this one is a fiction by an author that I really enjoy reading her books. And this is one of the ones I hadn't read hers. I own all her books. I've read almost all of her books, but this was one I hadn't read that I owned. And so I finally got to it, and it did not leave me disappointed. It was definitely a really good book. And that is The Sleeping Dictionary by Sujata Mase. I know if you're on this channel with me for the ride, you know that I talk about her as one of those authors people don't really talk about that much, but I think that she's really a great author. I like her books a lot. She had a Rei Shimura Japanese series that I just adored. That was how I was introduced to reading her books. And the lovely thing about them, I love things that are like almost historical fiction. She would put elements in there and things so you could learn. Each book had a different element of the Japanese culture that you would learn about, and while still going through kind of the mystery with the main character. And I loved also that it would bring through the same character a lot. No, I shouldn't say that. There was a core group of characters that kind of come through the books, and so you know when they're mentioned, you already have a background on them because you've read the other books. So I love that. So this one, look at it, I still have it. I don't know why that's sticking out in there. All right, this one is not from that series. It's a totally different book. It's set in the 1930s, and it's when the British are I'm going to say colonizing India. And it has a main character that you kind of follow her from childhood to adult. And I want to do a separate video on this because oh my God, it was so good. I can't tell you, there was not one day that I would stop reading and I wouldn't go to my husband, oh my God, this was so good. Highly recommended. It's a big book, right? And if you don't want to read it, the audiobook is fantastic. I don't know, yeah, so about here, and then I picked up the audiobook and then just let that read it to me. And it's so good. It's like a movie. You could visualize everything. It covered so many different areas of discussion about the occupancy of India, what people felt there, and the struggle of this particular young girl. And she started in the beginning of the story. And it's heartbreaking, happy moments, funny moments, everything in this was on board. So I'm so happy I finally read it. I've owned it. I buy her books. I pre-order them all. And so she's got a new one that's on her latest series, which I should let Alba know because Alba read the last one, and I think it's the next one in that series in Bombay. But she does a great job of historical fictions, and this one is not an exception to that. And it just always inspires me to read things more, and that's what I like too. So great secret book, and it was almost hard not to talk to you guys about it because, like I said, every time I stopped reading, I'm like, oh my God. And my husband, like, he gets the gist of this book because I was kind of going along with him and telling him what's happening and what the latest developments are. Oh, so good. So good. So good. So that was good, right? So then the other one that I read, let me see if I can find it on here so I can show you the cover of it. Oh, dear me. This is when you call it, you're not quite organized. I'm trying to remember which, I think I got this on Libby. And this other one was so good. Let me see your timeline. Oh my God, you're sitting here watching me scroll. It's not cool. Oh my God, I can't find the cover. I'm going to do a separate video on this other book that I did, was my secret book. I'm going to tell you the name of it though. And it's called The Most Beautiful Thing, The True Story of America's, and mind you, it's a nonfiction. A Most Beautiful Thing, the The True Story of America's First All-Black High School Rowing Team by Ashay Cooper. Wow, 5-star read. 5-star read. Wow. I was scrolling through. I do this, you know, like I have tons of books to read, and I have books around me, and I have TBRs. And yeah, I always go into these apps and look and see what's in there, what's new, what they have available. And I bumped across this. I stumbled across this book. And I was like, ooh, that sounds good. And that'd be great for Nonfiction November. If I could just keep it top secret, I'll keep this as my secret book. So I got the audiobook, which was really good. And then I found out after I read it, because I went to go read some more, like to see more about this author, that there was a documentary that was narrated by Common that interviewed the author of the book, and then some of the other members of the Row team, and kind of basically talked about the story again. And I was like, I gotta watch it. I watched it with my husband. He hadn't read the book, but he heard me oohing and ahhing about the audiobook of the story. And I kid you not, oh, really good on Netflix. I'm going to make sure when I do my review, talk about it, I will link to the movie. I will link to the book. I will link to his organization. So much stuff was covered in the book in terms of, you know, the experience of living in a poor inner city, the lack of resources, the struggles of youth trying to survive in that environment, the opportunities of being presented to row, which is not something that's typically in the schools and in these schools, and it's a predominantly white sport in that time anyway. And so it was so amazing to see like their whole journey. And I'll get going and I'll keep talking about it. 5-star read, excellent. Do read it. It's just amazing. I definitely want to support more programs to help in assisting and having these opportunities. Great documentary, great book. So that was definitely a 5-star read. I think, so if I would just say for the 3 things that I read, because I think I had another, I don't know, I feel like I found something else too, but I'll probably find it later. Of the 3 things that I read, all of these I could say were 5 stars. I have no flaw on this. I had no flaw on this. I thought it was for what it was and what it was meant to do. I think it did it for me. And then the book about the rowing team was just really, really great. So I'm going to do a separate video on, actually I'll do on each of these. I want to talk a little bit more about them. This one especially, I got to wrap my head around the story so that I can really deliver it. But again, it was just like being in a movie. She gave you, oh my God, really emotional roller coaster. Good book. And this one is just an eye opener. If it's not in your lane, you usually don't know about it, right? So I just feel that when you read something and it can move the needle a little bit, it's always a good thing. And I think for me, I can't go back to not knowing the things that I did learn in here. And, I'm always trying to figure out, well, what do I do with that information? How can I be of service? So this one is really great because it does have a lot of resources and stuff too. So again, I'll talk about this. I'm gonna get ready to go do that again. Why do I do that? Like I should just say I read it and we'll talk about it later, but I can't. I mean, I sat on these two anyway. I didn't tell you guys about them. So I'm proud of myself for keeping that secret. So I'm looking forward to the weekend. I am now going to get into so everybody keeps saying, I want to get into this, but I'm going to continue with Barack's book, which is over there. So I don't want to walk past you all and have to go get it. But I have that one, and then oh my God, where's my list? So the Washington Black I would like to get to. I probably won't get to it this weekend if I'm being really honest. But okay, The Vanishing Half. That is the one I want to start this weekend. I really want to get that one done before the end of the year, so I need to hop on it because it's not a small book. And it's Street of a Thousand Blossoms by Ogio Tsukiyama. I'm going to try to get to that. What's happening to me right now is that it has happened to me all year, but I swear people must be just sitting down and eating and not looking at their books, because all of my holds are coming off like this. Boom, boom, boom. Right before I sat down here, another book that I had on hold that was supposed to be 4 weeks out is here. I'm like, what? Huh? And I hate to say no, because I'm like, how long is it going to put me back in the queue? But, you know, I've got Barack Obama's book is a chunkster, and even the audio is about 24 or 5 hours. I don't know. It's a long time. And so I have to make sure that I get that done. So I don't know if I'll be able to get to some of these ones that came off hold. And I'm not sure how that's going to shake up this list, but you know, as from past experience, that it has. Another thing that has invaded my TBR, my son is doing, I always try to peek in and find out what they're reading for school. And sometimes they share with me and sometimes they don't want to tell me because they don't want me to read it. Because they don't want to be, like, because I said to my son, he says, oh yeah, we have 2 books. And he said, and I said, oh, I should get them and we could be a book club. And my husband's like, don't. And of course, my son was like, no. And I was like, okay. And we don't have to be a book club. So, you know, he's gotten to the age he doesn't want to really read with me, but I'm going to read parallel to him. So the book that he's reading is Nick Stone's Dear Martin. And I never read that. So I snagged the audiobook and I started listening to it. And I only have about an hour left. It is very good. Everybody's said it already, but it is a very good story about a Black youth. And it's a lot to unpack in the book, but his experience basically, you know, kind of growing up and issues of race and identity and affirmative action and police profiling, and it's got a lot all into the story, which I would love to be a fly on the wall to see how they discuss the book in his class. But he and I have talked so far about, we're both about the same spot in the book, so we've had our little discussion about it. So I'm loving that. And his second book that he's reading, but I don't know if I'm going to get to it, is, oh my God, and I have the book. I can't think of the name of it, but I'll mention it next time we get together if I can remember then to do it. But I may try to get to that other one. So that has invaded my TBR for this month, but I only have an hour left of it. It was a very fast read, and that was good. And that's about it, guys. I think I said this is going to be short, and I'm pretty sure it's not a short video. So I apologize for that because I know y'all have things to do. Let me know what you're reading, watching. Are you watching any good stuff? I just started watching The Queen's Gambit on Netflix. Everybody keeps talking about it. And I'm just like that with books. Like, I don't want to watch things when people talk about it a lot. I just get like, whatever. I'll do it on my own time. So finally, I said to my husband, let's just peek at it. So we've now watched... we're on the second episode now. We're about 10 minutes into the second episode. It's very good. I didn't know what to think of it. So let me know if there's any recommendations on Netflix. And documentaries too, because I tend to add them to my list to watch there. I like to watch documentaries as well. So let me know what you're doing. There's Christmas music in my house. I've decorated. You know, I told you all I'm into it. My kids are tired of Christmas music already. I'm trying to, you know, spare them. I put my headphones on for some of the days so that I can enjoy my music, but that's the deal. I hope you guys are all well, and I'm just babbling now, and I'm done. And I will talk to you again next week, and then I will probably be, the following Friday will probably be, I said Christmas then? Yeah, so I won't do it until after, next one will probably be the last one of a Friday before the new year. And I will try to record this one, and this one to fill time maybe between now and then. And then I will give you guys what happened in December when we get back together in 2021. Starting over, reset. We'll talk to you guys later. Wash your hands, wear your mask, read your books, and social distance. Bye.